Shrimp is one of the most popular kinds of seafood on the entire planet. But behind every shrimp cocktail, every delicious stir fry, there's an invisible war being waged. Yeah, it's a super high stakes battle against a relentless, microscopic enemy that threatens the whole global supply. This is the story of that war. So, to really get what's at stake here, you've got to understand the sheer scale we're talking about. I mean, our demand for shrimp has made the aquaculture industry just explode. Take a look at this. Between 1990 and 2019, production went from just over 500,000 metric tons to more than 6 million. That's a nearly tenfold increase in just 30 years.
And all that shrimp? Well, it adds up. And I mean, it really adds up. In 2017 alone, the global market for crustaceans was worth over $61 billion. So this isn't just about what's on our plates. It's a massive economic engine, especially for countries in Asia and Latin America.
But whenever something grows that fast, that intensely, well, there's always a catch, isn't there? This incredible success story had a dark side, a hidden cost that was just waiting to emerge.
And that cost? It's a war fought against an enemy you can't even see, viruses. These things can spread like wildfire through those crowded shrimp ponds, and they are capable of wiping out an entire harvest in just a matter of days.
All right, so let's dive in. Let's really look at this industry under siege and get to know the viral threat that's keeping farmers everywhere up at night. Okay, so you might be thinking, don't farms always have to deal with diseases? And yeah, they do, but not all enemies are created equal. Bacterial infections, they're a pain, for sure, but you can often manage them. But viruses? Oh, that's a whole different beast. They have roughly 4 times the negative impact, and once a virus gets into your farm, it is incredibly difficult, sometimes even impossible to stop. And the cost of this war, it is just staggering. In the 15 years leading up to 2005, diseases cost the shrimp industry an estimated $15 billion. Think about that. And get this, a whopping 80% of that loss happened in Asia, which is the absolute heart of global shrimp production. But, it's not just about the money. These viruses did something even more dramatic. They literally reshaped the entire industry, forcing a massive planet-wide change in the actual species of shrimp that everyone was farming. See, for years, there was one undisputed king of the shrimp farm, the giant tiger prawn. Its scientific name is Peneus monodon, and it was the absolute go-to for farmers, especially all across Asia. Then, bam! In the 90s and early 2000s, devastating viruses like yellowhead virus and white spot syndrome just tore through the giant tiger prawn populations. You can see it right here in the data. Look at the orange. That's the tiger prawn. It just tanks. Farmers were getting desperate. So what did they do? They switched. A massive shift to a different species, the white-leg shrimp, shown here in blue. It turned out to be more resistant, and it just took over, becoming the new dominant species worldwide. Viruses literally dethroned the king. All right, so who are these microscopic killers? Let's put some names to the faces, so to speak. Let's meet the villains in our rogues gallery. First on our list is the big one, the absolute deadliest of them all, white spot syndrome virus, or WSSV. The best way to think about it is like the plague of the shrimp world. It is, without a doubt, the most serious viral threat out there. And you can probably guess where it gets its name. It leaves behind this really obvious calling card, these distinct white spots all over the shell or carapace of an infected shrimp. So what are they? Well, the virus messes with the tissue right under the shell, causing calcium salts to build up and form these little white dots. And when I say this thing is lethal, I am not kidding. We're talking apocalyptic. It can cause up to 100% mortality in a pond. 100%. And it does it in as little as 3 to 10 days. Your whole crop, your entire investment just gone in less than 2 weeks. And this thing didn't stay put. Oh no, it went global, and it moved with terrifying speed. First popping up in China and Taiwan in 1992, it just swept through Asia, then hopped over to the Americas, the Middle East, and Africa. It was like a pandemic for the shrimp world, leaving billions of dollars in damage everywhere it went. Okay, villain number 2 is a little different. It's more subtle, but trust me, it's just as nasty when it comes to the economics. Meet IHNV. We're going to call this one the deformer. It doesn't always go for the kill, but it leaves its victims permanently scarred. So what this virus does is cause something called runt deformity syndrome, or RDS. Basically, the shrimp that get it often survive, but they're all messed up.
They end up with stunted growth, bent rostrums, that's that horn-like thing on their head, and even wrinkled antennae. They're alive, but they're small and deformed, which can slash their market value by up to 50%. And this one's been around for a while. It first popped up in Hawaii way back in 1981. Since then, it's just become this chronic, nagging problem for farms all over the world, reported in more than 20 countries.
And that brings us to our third and final villain, a virus with a truly gruesome calling card. Let's call this one the mussel melter.
So this virus goes right for the good stuff, the part of the shrimp we actually eat, the mussel. It causes the muscle tissue to die and turn this chalky, opaque white color, especially in the tail. It literally makes the shrimp look like it's been cooked while it's still alive. And obviously, that makes the product completely unmarketable.
So let's do a quick lineup of our suspects. You've got WSSV, the plague, which causes those white spots and kills with terrifying efficiency. Then there's IHNV, the deformer, which causes long-term deformity but has lower mortality. And finally, you've got IMNV, the mussel melter, which destroys the muscle and has a pretty high mortality rate itself. 3 different viruses, 3 very nasty strategies.
So you're a shrimp farmer, you're facing this microscopic onslaught. What do? Well, you don't just give up, you fight back. And that's exactly what the industry did, kicking off this global battle for what's called biosecurity.
And the game plan here is smart. It's got a few different fronts. First up, you start clean. You use certified shrimp larvae that are guaranteed to be specific pathogen-free, or SPF. Next, you need to see the enemy coming. So now there's widespread use of super-sensitive PCR tests that can spot a virus even in a shrimp that looks perfectly healthy. Third, you turn your farm into a fortress. We're talking physical barriers like fences and nets to keep out carriers like crabs and birds, plus really strict disinfection rules. And finally, you have to think globally, with strict quarantine controls to stop new diseases from crossing borders.
So, all of this, it brings us to the big question, right? We're in this constant arms race. On one side, you have brilliant scientists and dedicated farmers building these incredible defenses. But on the other side, you've got this invisible, constantly evolving enemy that is always looking for a crack in the armor. With the world wanting more shrimp than ever before, the question that hangs over everything is, can our defenses actually win this invisible war?